So let's start off with the basics. Describe your upbringing.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Hollis, Queens.
Hollis, all right.
207th Street, to be exact. You know, and I basically moved around in that area, you know, that's where it's been ever since.
All right, cool. So talk about your parents. That family dynamic is such a big part of your videos. So talk about living with your mother and going to your father's house and stuff like that. How was that dynamic growing up?
Well, the stepdad character that I have, he isn't a representation of my actual stepdad, but you know, and then like the whole father's house thing, it has nothing that like, it's not attached to anything like personally. It's just something that like, you know, clicked imagination wise. But my mom, definitely like the skits where, you know, you see my mom being aggressive, like you hear the mom voice or whatever, you know, go. Get that, like my mom is like, she's full of life. So a lot of content that comes from like her like scolding me or something like that, my mom scolding me, which is like I do, she's never in it, it's never her. It's just all me. That's her, man. She's something.
So speaking on that, how much of your characters are drawn from real life experiences?
I say 50%.
50%?
50%, yeah.
Okay.
You know, you got some stuff that's like that was an experience, or it's like that could have been something. It was something happened, but when I put that onto paper, or like I put that in the idea to shoot, it's totally something that I added to it. Okay. You know?
And how do you know which videos to post versus which ones to not?
Well, the thing is, I don't have any skits that I don't post because every single one is valuable to me, but in some way, shape, or form. If it's not ready to be like thrown out there, you know, like if it's not ready to drop for the public yet, then I'll just keep working on it, you know. But it's not like I just throw something away.
So let's talk about your first video. How did that come about?
The reason behind starting. So like, first of all, I don't only do comedy. Like I have other skills, you know. I could sing, I could dance, you know, and I'm just an overall artist. Yeah. And of course, like you got to focus on it, like which is what I'm doing right now. You got to focus on something. So to start out, so the thing is, I wanted to find a way to put that out there, and social media was the answer at that time. And now it, you know, it has like it evolved into this bridge for me between, you know, homemade videos to better produced content and more contacts, networking, and people that has like that have helped me along the way, you know, to do the things that I'm doing right now.
I've noticed that people love you for your comedy, but they also like you for your dancing. How did you decide which frontier you wanted to tackle first?
It was, well, I started this stuff the summer after high school. Okay. And then I knew I was going into college right after. I'm studying theater right now, my last year. I'm finishing up college this year, so yeah. I could, exactly, the Caribbean mother scolding, man, you're not gonna, if I was to like notice what was happening with Instagram and like social media or whatever and completely drop college, I wouldn't be here right now. Yeah. You know why? Because I'd be dead. So with that being said, I had to do the closest thing that I could while still obeying my choice of pursuing college.
It's an abnormal situation having somebody who, you know, in theory, you can make a complete living off of what you do without having to go to college, you know, and kind of pursue your dreams that way. So it's an abnormal situation. So is there any type of conflict, or not even conflict, but conversations that you have to have with any professors beforehand?
It's funny because the director of my program, she wanted to find out, like, she's like, Lorenzo, like, why are you late all the time? Why are you tired in class? Like, what's going on? You know, and and I would always beat around the bush, you know, and she ended up finding me somewhere on social media because one of the alumni that I did work with, like I put in one of my sketches, like one of the graduating actors, I did some work with him, and she saw it on his stuff, and she just found it, whatever. And she's like, yeah, oh, so this is what you've been doing.
This is why you're late.
She's like, and I'm like, yeah. So it's like she done found out, and she's pretty cool now, you know, as long as I balance it the right way.
Yeah.
And I'm responsible with what I'm doing. And she loves the work too, so it's a blessing.
So another question I had was, so you don't strike me as somebody that's, you know, afraid to be themselves necessarily, but as humans, right, we all get nervous from time to time. Did you have any sort of nerves about putting your first video out, you know, to the weekend, a little slow bop where you're like, oh nah, they might cut my, you know, they might roast me a little bit. Any hesitations at all?
Oh yeah. At first I was like that when I first started posting, and I remember one time, like, I'm like, yo, I don't care. Like, let me just do what I gotta do, bro. Let me just release what I want to release because I like it and that's it. And so I just started doing that. Like, man, as soon as I decided that, I was just like, you don't like it? I don't care. Yeah, I know I like it though. I know it's hot, whatever. And as long as I believed myself like that, at that rate I was going, I knew I was gonna like run into something. Yeah. You know, and like that's how my faith started building. Okay. And because it's a thing, you know, it's a thing now. You know, people on social media, they're like, you know, don't want to post something. People will look at a post 10 times before they post it, right? And I've conquered that fear to a point where I don't care. I'm very confident in myself and what I do and my work that I put out and that I create. So it is what it is to me.
And how much of that helps you to be humble, you know, in terms of the position that you are in? Because you come across as like an extremely humble, like, you know, somebody that you could come and talk to, you have a conversation, obviously, if you're not doing anything. So how much does that decision to, you know, just not care how people react to your videos help you now in terms of being true to yourself?
It definitely built my confidence on social media as far as like posting what I want. And it encouraged me to basically it's almost like I'm inspiring others to do the same.
Yeah,
you
by
know?
doing it yourself.
Right. If I'm answering the question. Was that a
difficult leap of faith to do in terms of like just saying like, all right, I'm not gonna care what people think. I'm just gonna do me. And if people like it, they like it. If not, was that difficult? It was
difficult, but it wasn't that crazy because I was always like, I was like in person, I was never afraid to be myself. Yeah. You know, I was always like the way you see me, anything you see online on like about me, whatever I put out, that just derived from who I naturally am. Okay. So it's just different when you put it out there on social media. It's just a different science to it, you know?
Absolutely.
So it was difficult for like a little while, and then I said, yo, F it.
Let's talk about when your videos started to build momentum and traction. At what point did you start noticing that they were becoming popular?
So I noticed when P. Diddy posted my video. Okay. The first celebrity ever to post my stuff was Puff. And he followed me and everything. And then like from there, especially from there, because before that, Shiggy posted me. That was the first, because me and him is like cool, you know. Yeah. He's from Queens, I'm from Queens. He did it, and then after that, it started to just explode.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people think that, you know, the social media kind of happens overnight. Is that the process, or was it more like a slow build?
Well, social media doesn't happen overnight, and it does sometimes. Okay. So it's a little bit of both. You know, there's some people that, you know, you could do something ratchet and blow up, you know, like overnight, or you can actually build and think about what you're doing, which takes more time or it doesn't, whatever. But for me personally, I could say it doesn't happen overnight. Mm-hmm. Even though everybody, like anybody that wants to do something on social media want it to pop overnight, it doesn't. It requires hard work. It requires dedication, consistency, and knowing what you actually want to do with this platform.
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
What exactly you want to get into? Where are you going? What's your direction?
And that's something like we talked about earlier, that you planned it out. You had an idea about where you wanted to go, and this was the mechanism you decided to get to where you want to go.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So piggybacking off of Diddy a little bit more, let's talk about how, because you have some major celebrities following you and endorsing you, be it Drake, Rihanna, Diddy. So describe how that feels being like, a kid from New York, and I can relate to that, having, people who are icons for our generation in a lot of ways know who you are, but support your work. Tell me what that feeling is like.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Right? That's wild. But again, this is what I say to everybody that like asks that question.
Yeah.
When you bust your ass long enough, work hard, stay up late, whatever the case may be, sacrifice, all just to be closer to your goals, and you start to see them flourish. When these things come back and reward you, it's not a surprise because you put in that work for it, right? So it's not like, yeah, it's great, but it's not like, whoa, is this really happening? No, you did that. You were in you was in a ditch. So yeah, it's happening. So embrace it. That's my thing. I embrace it fully. Shout out to Drake, Rihanna, Puff.
Yeah, I completely relate to
Chris,
that. Like,
Chris Brown. Yeah.
putting the work in.
Putting the work in.
You put the work in. You can't really. You had a plan, so when it comes to fruition, you're happy by it, right? You're ecstatic about it, but it's not like it's a surprise because you've been putting the late nights in.
You shouldn't it's like you're saying, I don't know how this happened. What you mean? You don't know how this happened.
Okay. So So Instagram was the first platform that you used to put your talents and broadcast them to the world. Okay. So talk about the decision to chase the dream, so to speak. How old were you when you decided that? We know when you started making Instagram videos, but at what age did you know that I want to be an entertainer?
I would say one of my single-digit ages.
One of your single-digit ages?
Yeah, like
Okay.
probably like somewhere at 5 to 10.
So you've been doing this long before the gram.
Long before the gram, man. I've been doing this for a while. Like this is just me,
Okay.
and now it's on the gram.
Yeah.
But it's always been who I was since I was like little, and I would just look at TV, man. I would look at TV. I would look at the awards. I would look at movies, TV shows, and I would see myself in them. And that just started to grow.
And it grow. Okay.
And it's a blessing to be able to be a whole lot of steps closer to my vision.
Absolutely.
Today.
So one of the things I noticed about, as you spoke about YouTube earlier, so looks like you started your channel somewhere around like 6 months ago. I saw a screenshot on your Instagram with like 1,000 subscribers maybe, and now you're in like 150. So
Right.
talk to me about how you're transferring your Instagram popularity over to YouTube, because I mean your following isn't as big as it is on the gram, but talk about that process more, and like almost shifting away from the 15-second skits and actually doing like, substantially longer videos. Talk about that. What was the decision behind that?
Right. So like I already was thinking about taking my material to the next level apart from Instagram and into something else, because I felt like I could do more. I always feel like I'm capable of doing more.
Yeah.
And I never settle with my content, so I said YouTube. And it took me a while to actually make the move because I wanted to make it in the right way. And I wanted to go there and really put out the work that I wanted to put out. So,
and are you talking about being in a position where you could like film things the right way?
Right,
Okay.
right, and having the right team around me, which is when I joined with Shot Studios, with John Shahidi, Sam Shahidi, and now we're creating longer forms of content with with a team to actually push this forward, you know, and execute.